The preceding slides will discuss the changes to the SECOR program beginning January 1st, 2023. Today's objective is to provide an overview of the changes to Element C, hazard control. Element C, hazard control, was updated to now include violence and harassment plans. There are 3 questions in this element that focus on violence and harassment prevention plans. The purpose of these new questions is to ensure employers have a plan in place to protect workers from workplace violence and harassment and provide direction should an incident occur. Now we'll focus on the specific content added to element C. Question C9. Is there a written violence prevention plan as per legislative requirements? The requirement for this question is a written violence prevention plan that can include criteria such as definitions of violence and harassment, how workers are protected, how incidents are reported and investigated, and plan review requirements. You will need to check jurisdictional requirements as each province has a different requirement and uses different language. For example, Alberta uses the term violence and harassment. British Columbia uses workplace bullying and harassment as internal and violence as external, and Saskatchewan uses bullying and harassment in the workplace and violence separately. Questions C9 and C10 cannot be marked NA. However, depending on the size and nature of the organization, some criteria may not be appropriate. For example, if the organization has no employees. Question C10. Is there a written harassment prevention plan as per legislative requirements? As previously stated, you will need to check jurisdictional requirements to ensure you meet provincial requirements. Violence and harassment policies and plans can be combined as one document provided jurisdictional requirements are met. Separate plans are not required to meet the requirements. Question C11. Is there a requirement for reviewing the violence and harassment plans as per legislative requirement being met? Ensure your policy or plan identifies the legislative requirements for review. Criteria for review could include reviews occurring when an incident occurs related to violence and/or harassment, if the health and safety rep or health and safety committee recommends a review, or at least every 3 years. For example, in Alberta, violence and harassment plans are required to be reviewed at least once every 3 years, whereas in BC, workplace bullying and harassment policies require annual review. We'll conclude today's presentation with additional resource information. ESC has created a one-pager that includes definitions, audit requirements, and guidelines, and links to additional resources which can be located on the ESC website under Core and then Materials and Resources. Additional information regarding legislation for Alberta employers can be found on the Alberta OH&S Legislation Search Tool site under search-ohs-laws.alberta.ca. WorkSafe BC has a similar online legislation search tool located on the WorkSafe BC site under searchable-OHS-regulation. Violence and harassment legislation for Alberta can be found in Part 27 of the OH&S Code or by using the link provided on the page. Bullying and harassment legislation for British Columbia can be located in sections 115, 116, and 117 of the Workers' Compensation Act or on the link provided. Violence legislation for BC can be located in sections 4.25 through 4.31 of the regulation. Applicable legislation for Saskatchewan can be found in the Saskatchewan Employment Act regulations or from the links provided. And finally, a list of additional resources. Alberta and WorkSafe BC both have OH&S e-news channels. Canadian Centre for Occupational Health and Safety, or CCOHS, and ESC has resource search tools available on their website, as well as webinars on demand and safety bulletins. This concludes the presentation on SECOR Element C Hazard Control Audit Tool Updates for the 2023. If you have any questions, please email coreinfo@energysafetycanada.com or call the hotline number at 1-800-667-5557, option 3. Thank you.